Hey, good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you're watching this from. My name is Alan Thomas, and I'm founder of Rethink Dieting. And for those of you that don't know me, I always tell a little bit about where I came from. Over the last several years, this Rethink Dieting concept has grown from what became my struggle with morbid obesity that ended in 2017 when I stepped on the scale and I saw a number I never thought I would ever see in my lifetime staring back at me. It was 304 pounds. And I'm not 8 feet tall. I'm an average height guy. And I saw that, and I knew, having been in the life insurance business for decades, that I'd never met a man that had made it to 65 that was over 100 pounds overweight. And now keep in mind, I was only 55 at the time. I didn't have any medical conditions to speak of, no big, glaring things other than my morbid obesity. That's a big medical condition. But at the end of the day, I realized that I was going to be known as my wife Angie's first husband because I couldn't put down the fork. I was going to be known as my four grown children as the dad that was not still there with them because I'd likely be dead in 10 years. I was 55, and I just knew that in 10 years I'd be dead if I didn't do something about it, because you just couldn't escape the realities. I know there's a famous quote that I love. It's when I argue with reality, I lose, but only 100% of the time. And that's what I was doing. I've been arguing with reality. And so on that day, I deemed that I would never see that number again. And within 260 days, I had shedded 129 pounds. And I don't say that to impress you. I say that to impress upon you. It's possible for you. And what's so interesting is this work we never intended to do. It was not something that was on my bucket list. I'm going to be a weight loss coach. And my wife, Angie, she has an amazing story too. You see her, a lot of posts that she does. She's released 63 pounds in 190 days. And we ended this struggle that had gone decade after decade after decade with a decision. And so today, what's been on my mind today is just really what role are you playing with your obesity? And because we all are playing these roles, and where this came into my thought process was I have a friend that I've known for many years. He's into health and wellness, physical fitness guy. He's trained hundreds, probably maybe thousands of movie stars, people like Tom Hanks and John Travolta and all these movie stars. He would train them for movie roles. And I know after I lost my weight, he was asking me about some things, and he was just talking about when he helped Tom Hanks drop. I think he dropped about 35 pounds in 90 days, and how it was very methodical. And it was interesting. Tom Hanks didn't need to lose weight. It was for the movie Philadelphia Story. And while I've never met Tom Hanks, don't know him, seen as many of his movies, love him as an actor, but he was playing, he did it for a role, and he produced this result very quickly. And not much different than how I produced a result after struggling for 35 years in 260 days, and how clients of ours have produced results like that too. And it's so interesting that the role I was playing as an obese man was me hiding. It was me hiding behind my weight. It really was. It was every time I reached for another bite of food, every time that something that I made the decision to not do what I already knew how to do. I mean, I was one of those people that if, I could have written a book on diets. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a dietitian. I'm not a physical fitness expert. None of that. I have none of those credentials. But my credential is I was a miserable failure. But I had this role that I was allowing myself to play, where I was hiding behind all this excess weight. I was hiding behind the next bite of food. And I mean, food is good. Jesus declared all the food good. He just didn't say eat it all at once. That's what I tell people all the time. But it's so interesting. It's not about getting in your skinny jeans. I mean, I want you to look good, live a long time. It's what role you're allowing yourself to play. And like what I was allowing myself to play, I was playing this role as this morbidly obese guy. I made jokes when I got on the elevator. Angie told me about these things. I didn't even remember them. They were so ingrained with me. When I walked into a room, like I would meet with people about their life insurance back then, and I would have to look for the chair that looked sturdy, that looked wide, so that I wouldn't be embarrassed. And I was playing this role of a fat guy. I was playing this role that I was allowing, and it was always a choice. And I know people have different conditions and all, but listen, there is no evidence out there that releasing excess weight is impossible. It's just not. It's hard. I get it. It's total that, but we build these coping mechanisms like I did, where I believed I had a slow metabolism, which is true. I had a slower metabolism. That's how I got so obese, but it was just an excuse. I had, my wife loved me anyway, which is true. Angie loved me. For some reason, she loved me anyway, even though weight gain's #3 cause of divorce in America. She sure had grounds for it with my weight gain, but she loved me anyway. And I had all these reasons to grab the next bowl of ice cream, to grab the next bite of food. And I was playing this role until I wasn't. And we've seen clients do this over and over, where they get a vision of what they really, really want. And even though they're barely believing it's possible, they see it. I know I talk about Rick a lot because he is a unicorn. That's what I call him, because he's 73 years old. He's dropped over 160 pounds, and he cannot exercise because he's got a fused vertebrae. He's a heart attack survivor. He's got all these medical conditions. And when he came to us, he was over 350 pounds. He had been at one time 388 pounds. But today, 3 years later, he's lost what I joke with him. He's lost one of the Backstreet Boys. He's lost over 160 pounds. And it was always possible for him, even though he struggled for 52 years. Even he struggled with weight. But at age 70, he made the decision. And I knew it was possible because I knew that he could do it based on other things that he's done in his life. And so I'm saying all this to you, and I know I'm kind of rambling, but I want you to think about, what role are you allowing yourself to play? Tom Hanks, when he got ready for Philadelphia Story, he made the decision to drop 30 plus pounds. He did not need to lose weight. He had to drop so much weight, he looked like he was sick because he was playing the roles of somebody who had a terrible illness. And so, but he lost this weight as a decision. Now, was it easy? I bet it wasn't easy for him either. I bet he had all kind of opportunity. I can't imagine on movie studio a lot. They probably got all kind of food to eat, probably got all kind of parties they're going to. But he made a decision to lose weight beyond what was really healthy, I'm sure, for him, because he's like 6 foot and he dropped down to like 160 pounds. But at the end of the day, he did it for a role. But I think we all do that for a role indirectly. We play this role where we allow ourselves, we gain the 5 pounds. We gain the 5 pounds, and then so we move that thermostat up to where we're allowing ourselves to be that size, and we start justifying it. We're getting older. We're not, my knees hurt, my ankles hurt, whatever the particular thing that may be true, but it's also becomes that coping mechanism that becomes this role. We play the role of the person who struggles. We play this role. And so I want to invite y'all, if you're struggling with weight, and I know a lot of people watching this, it is going to be harder for you, and I get that, and I so honor the fact that you're even watching it. But I want you to understand it's possible. It's possible to get the weight off. It is. We've just seen so many people do it who had all these different roles they had allowed themselves to play, all these different coping mechanisms, just like I used to have, just like Angie was still carrying her pregnancy weight, but her daughter was 15. Are you kidding me? I mean, I loved her. I was attracted to her. She's gorgeous. I loved her regardless of what size. Just like Jesus loves you regardless of what weight you are. But a couple of questions I want you to consider, and I ask this a lot, but I really want you to think about this. This is not a chart on the wall weight. But if the creator of the universe, Jesus Christ, walked into your house today with the version of yourself he created you to be, the one he knew you as at the beginning of time, the version of, he knows every hair on your head. But if you walked in your house with the version of yourself you were created to be at your present age, what would that version of you weigh? That's the first question you need to answer. And your doctor might not know that number. I don't know what it is. It's what your ideal weight is. It's the weight that you're created to be. And it's so interesting. When I ask people this, it gets real. Second thing is, I know that you may not know what to eat. I know that you've tried every diet out there. I know that every exercise program that you've tried has been difficult and all these different things, and you've maybe failed 100 times or whatever. But I want you to ask yourself, if you're if you're all the people you love on earth, even your pets, everything you love on earth was taken hostage, you get a call from an enlisted number, and on that number they say the only way to get them back alive, they're being held at gunpoint. God forbid this would ever happen, but the only way you get them back alive is for you to release or lose 1 pound every week until you reach that ideal weight. But here's the catch: you can't ask a doctor, you can't ask a dietitian, you can't ask a nutritionist, you can't ask a physical fitness expert, you can't even ask Google what to eat. You have to eat what you know in your heart would be safe. It would be, your doctor, if he knew about it, would say, man, that's a great diet. It would be the things you know to eat that are healthy, and do it in a very controlled fashion. Could you save your family's life? Could you save the people that you love's life? And I'll bet you can. I've asked that question. I remember asking Sean Wiggins this years ago. The first I really tested me as an individual who had, was over 400 pounds, and he was in a wheelchair if he had to walk more than 10 feet. And I told Sean, I said, we don't tell people what to eat, but we'll get your weight off. And he said, but what am I going to eat, Alan? I've never been on a diet. And I asked him that question. I said, what would you do if your wife and 2 daughters were held hostage? And he said, I got it. I'll eat less. I said, that's where you start. And that's where he started. It led to Sean losing over 150 pounds. I mean, are you kidding me? It's not that complicated. It's the going the distance that's complicated. It's the pieces that people are missing in there. It's all those components. So I want to invite you, if you're not at your created weight and you know what to do, and you do, it happens every time, then what's keeping you from saving yourself? Because God doesn't make garbage, and he didn't start with any of you that are watching this. You were born for a reason, and it wasn't obesity. You were born for a reason that maybe it's your family, maybe it's your work, but maybe it's to lead. Maybe it's to do something extraordinary that you cannot do if you don't get this weight off. I want you to live a long time. I want you to serve in God's kingdom. I want you to be the version you were created to be. But I want you to be free. And I believe the Creator wants us to be free too. I mean, one of our core verses at Rethink Dieting is John, create to give you life abundantly, abundant life. So when people ask me what we do at Rethink Dieting, I say we help men and women release the weight that holds them back from living the extraordinary life that they were born to live. That's John 10:10. I don't believe the Creator created us to be obese or morbidly obese. I believe he created us for much, much more than the next bite of food. Do not sell your birthright for a bowl of stew. Anyway, I hope this serves somebody. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, I know a lot of people, they say, well, how to find out more information about you? If you want more information about it, go to rethinkdieting.com. That's where you can watch a training that we've done that's the 5-step strategy Angie and I used to lose 192 pounds together in 260 days. She dropped 63 pounds in 190 days. I dropped 129 pounds in 260 days. And so go there, watch that, apply that. And then if you're somebody that really is looking for more of an answer, you don't want to do this alone. You want to really dive into how you could have the success we're seeing people have. I mean, it's like we just had another client past the century mark in weight loss. Dave Butler, shout out to Dave, 105 or whatever he is down since February. His life is coming alive. We're seeing people, men and women, get their life back. That's what we want for you. But if you want to have a conversation with Angie and me, go to transformmyfuture.com/apply, where you can book a call. What we're going to do on that call is we're going to get really clear on your problem with weight, what's working, what's not working, but we're also going to get clear on where you want to go, what reaching your ideal weight really does look like. And then the third thing is that we can help you. And so go to transformmyfuture.com/apply. And I hope this serves you well. And I hope you have an amazing week, and God bless.